We're talking about sex discipline, but discipline is a word that we apply in everything that we do. The society is built on knowing that you don't have the discipline to do it, then that's how I'm going to make money of you.
Now, sexual discipline in terms of abstaining, if that is the goal, all right? There has to be some form of goal in order for it to be disciplined for it. Not everybody has a goal to abstain from sex.
And that could be a problem with why people don't have sexual discipline, because now everything is so romanticized in terms of I can be whatever I want, I can do whatever I want, I can sleep with whomever. And now it's classified as, yes, because the church will look at a promiscuous woman and automatically say, oh, you're not supposed to do this because of different things. But there's the world also aspect of it that's telling you that that is okay.
So are we saying that if you already do not have the discipline when you have little,
oh baby,
definitely gonna go wild.
What?
Successful, or even in relationship.
Yes.
If you are here and then there's already unfaithfulness and like all of those things. So when you at a higher level, get ready.
Everybody, welcome back to the Mind Your Wellness podcast. I'm your host, Obel. We have with us
Adisia.
Jesse Bell is there?
Obel Pluvios. You know I have to say my last name now. Let's
make sure.
We have our special, well, I always say special, guys. Don't mind me. I just think that everybody that I keep around me are special.
You can have more than one, remember?
And I can have more than one. Oh,
that's
no,
right.
We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into that. But we're gonna introduce our good friend Kayla, who was with us the first season, and she is back with us to have a great conversation. I'm so excited to have you with us, Kayla.
Thank you.
Tell the people who you are again. For those of you who are now joining us, and we've seen that we've gained subscribers in the last year. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you for for commenting, sharing. Continue to do so that the conversations could go further and we can learn together and get better.
Yeah.
So Kayla, can you tell the people a little about yourself?
Of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Kayla Joissaint, or Kayla Joissaint if you're American. That's fine. I am a preacher. I'm an itinerant preacher. I'm based out of San Antonio currently. I'm in Texas. And I'm also a certified sex coach. For the church people, I like to say intimacy and wellness specialist.
Why? The word sex cannot be in the church?
No, sex can be in the church, but sex is a little sometimes intimidating for some to swallow. You need to shake their consciousness. As why I still pull up as myself. But intimacy and wellness expert is what I do. I am not somebody who tries to fix you. I am somebody who wants to aid in helping you become better in what you're already doing or not doing yet, either one. I am a makeup artist. I travel and do makeup behind a lot of preaching women, as well as myself being a preaching woman. So all things I do are ministry related. I love beauty. I love the Lord. I love to eat. And I have a baby boy.
Nice.
Can I ask you a question to start?
You may.
I like how interesting, as you see, these ladies, they are fixated on last names here.
Yeah.
I like how you kind of translate your last name.
Thank you.
Tell me why. Well, I say I like it. It's interesting. I use the word like lightly. Why do you translate your last name?
Because a lot of people cannot pronounce it. So there's an American version and then there's the Creole version.
And I should accommodate you because you can pronounce it?
No. I'm trying to make it easier for you.
Okay. That's what I don't do. I think I challenge myself to learn how to pronounce your last name in English.
Mm-hmm.
You ought to do the same thing.
But then
I can receive that.
If your name is Peter, I don't call you Pete. That wouldn't be good.
Come on, Doc.
I'm just saying.
That went left real quick.
So, the least you could do is to challenge yourself to, it's not that hard. So maybe you should not accommodate anyone.
Either way.
That's fine. I'm just saying.
Thank you for the little razzle-dazzle to start us off. I don't feel no type of way.
So Kayla Joissaint, okay? Get it right.
Yep, that's right.
We were so excited to have you, Kayla. And I know this conversation is about to be a big one because as the title, sexual discipline is something that we don't talk enough about. And especially in our community, we see a lot of downfall of powerful men. And it's because of lack of,
women.
Well, it could be men as well.
Yes, but we cannot make sex just a man's problem.
That's
No,
right.
no,
It's
no. I
definitely
mean,
both.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
It's 2025. Sometimes a man lead another man too.
For sure.
But keep going. Let's keep going.
Yes,
Let's keep going.
Definitely that. Yeah.
Let's keep going.
In any kind of way or sexual orientation, we see the downfall of powerful people
Yeah.
because of lack of sexual discipline. Now, I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's just talk about what is sexual discipline, not just in the just abstinence sense, but the mindset and what are some things that you can see in your day-to-day life to help you with that?
Go ahead, doctor.
Oh, I didn't know that was. You are the guest of honor.
No. Because when I was talking, he wanted to interrupt. So go ahead.
No.
Oh, shots fired.
That's what we're doing here.
That's what we're doing.
Wow.
You don't need to come take the floor from me.
No.
Was he mansplaining you?
My God. My Lord. My God, you are winning. No, I'll pass the ball back to you. No, seriously. All joke aside.
I want to hear about sexual discipline from a man's perspective.
No, seriously. I think what is important is to, when you talk about sexual discipline, let's look at the word discipline by itself, and we could look at the combined word. What is discipline? Discipline is I know what I have to do. I know I had to separate the things that I should not be doing from the things that I need to be doing, and stay focused on what I need to be doing to get to where I need to be. That's basically the bottom line of discipline. So if you add the combined word sex discipline, I know who I need to be involved with sexually. I know who I need not to be involved with sexually. Now, can I stay focused on those or on the one, depends on how you do it, can I stay focused on that person and not allow the distractions to lead me astray? That's basically what sexual discipline is, if you want to use it in that way. So, but I want to hear what your take is on this notion of the fall of great men, females or women, I should be saying, have been the result or a reason for the fall of great men. And of course, I want to hear your idea of sexual discipline as well.
Okay, so your question is, what
do you see as sexual discipline? How do you view it? And do you feel like the females or the women play a role into the fall of the great men? Well, there's Delilah and Samson, Monica Lewinsky and Bill, whatever.
How are you gonna name?
So that's a lot to unpack. But first and foremost, I will say I agree with you and your definition of sexual discipline and discipline, resisting certain things that are going to get in the way of what the goal is, right? When there is a lack of constraint or resistance, and it's just like this loose demise of yourself and action that you should not be partaking in. And that could be eating cake past 10. If you don't have the discipline, then anytime you see a piece of cake, you're going to go for it without restraining yourself, knowing that it could cause you harm, especially let's just say you're diabetic, right? So it's the same type of discipline. Now, sexual discipline in terms of abstaining, if that is the goal, all right? There has to be there has to be some form of goal in order for it to be disciplined for it.
Because you have something to strive towards.
Exactly.
Right.
So not everybody has a goal to abstain from sex. So sexual discipline doesn't even come into terms with some people. That's not part of their life, right? But my thing is, when it comes to sexual discipline and people in general, if to abstain is your goal, then keeping yourself disciplined in a form of sex would be to know and to give yourself limitations. And some people don't know how to keep and create boundaries. Now, you said about powerful men or people and sexual partners. And you even mentioned a little bit of Bible in there when you said Samson and Delilah, right? So I'm, as well as a sex coach, I'm also a theologian. So I'm big on Bible too. And I'm working on a piece where it's called Let Her Speak. And I talk about the women in the Bible who often I feel like are misinterpreted or mansplained, or there's some type of patriarchal definition of them. When it comes to Delilah, you have to look at the fact that she was a single woman.
I see.
She was a single woman who was asked to do a favor in exchange for some money, right? I feel like there are women, we do more for less as a result, okay? And so if the only thing I have to do is find a man, make this man fall in love with me because I'm so beautiful, and I get paid for it, and I can take care of myself, my family, my kids in the future and everything else, what's the problem? There was a gain out of it, right? When we talk about these powerful men, going back to your first point, of powerful men, and there's this demise of such. If all I have to do is show up, be pretty, smile, give, I don't know how brutal, like, I don't know.
Go brutal.
Okay.
You know we don't hold back here.
Okay. If all I have to do is show up, give some head under a desk, and I get paid, my mortgage is paid, I don't have to work for anything, what's the problem?
But is there a level of where it dehumanize the female or the woman, I should say? I need to stop using those two terms the way I do. I've been corrected so many times. So is there a point where you are reducing the value of femininity or the value of the freedom of the female, I should say, by just selling it in that manner? Is there such a thing?
I believe it depends on your morality and what you believe in.
I see.
I believe there is a term out here, right, where we say, in a kosher way, vagina is power, right? And my thing is, you can
By the way, it's the vulva that is the power. The vagina is...
Yes. It can only be power if that's a proper leverage, if there's a fair trade for it, right? If in terms of me using it, I don't get paid for it, I don't get any acceleration, I don't enjoy the pleasure of such, then what am I really gaining from this vagina is power?
So there should be a price on the pussy.
That is up to the person with the pussy.
No.
Are we leaving?
Stop.
Oh,
the market should determine the price of the pussy, right?
I believe that goes both ways. I really do. Because if I say if I am making the choice that my vagina is only worth my rent being paid for this month, that's what I am marketing it as. You as a buyer and say, okay, yeah, I think you are worth paying your rent for this month. So now I'm marketing it as that. And you are also, as the buyer, coming to establish what I've already put down.
But do you feel like sometimes, and you guys can get into that as well, do you feel like sometimes you, as the seller of the pussy, overprice it because supply and demand? If it has 100,000 miles on it, and then there's so many of them out there, how do you price yours in a way that gonna attract me as a buyer?
So here's
because
the
dehumanizing them. I feel like, let me chime in a little bit. I think our body is not a product, even though some people choose to.
Yep.
Even though some people choose to use their body as a product, I don't think a worth, like a monetary worth, can be placed on your body.
Right.
Even though through history, even current times, some people choose to use their vagina, like you say, the vulva, as the power.
Yeah.
But that's not the whole purpose of creation.
But what I'm hearing
especially
here
in a
is
biblical
that
sense.
what I'm hearing here, if I have something that I can use it to get what I want, then it's okay. Am I not hearing?
No,
she's
she's saying,
No.
I think in the context of Delilah, I'm going to chime into this because
Right.
I agree with that. We like to say, or Samson was victimized by Delilah and things
I'm
like
sure
that.
he enjoyed
But
it.
we
I don't know if he
forget.
did. I don't know.
Well, but we forget the fact that Delilah was on a job.
Yes.
Yes.
You know,
This
What
is
was
a
her
job.
job?
She was a CIA. You need to infiltrate
literally
this skip.
Her mission was his fall.
Find out his secret.
Her mission was to make sure that he falls.
So
find out the secret. Not even he falls. Find out what's making that man so powerful.
Powerful, yeah.
That was her job.
That was her job, yeah.
And she went
the descendant. What
not
was
as a
Delilah?
person
Anybody
who
knows?
believes in God, because that's her job. The Bible said that she was beautiful and seductive, and they pick her for that mission because of Samson's weakness.
Yes,
because they know once you put your weakness out in the world, it's up for anybody to pick on.
Yeah.
So does that mean we should not be trusting you guys?
We're not saying you should not trust us.
We should saying that we should. It goes both ways, right? It's not about trust. It's about self-discipline, which is the subject that we want to go back to.
Yeah.
So my question is, why do you think powerful men, in spite of being so powerful, chooses to still fall into those, habits?
Because you guys are spies. You guys all over and then spying on people.
With all the influence that they have, right? Why do they not think, how do I become more sexually disciplined to protect myself?
I feel like I can argue both sides of this because no matter how disciplined you are, I feel like men's weakness has always been the woman.
The woman, right.
And God knows what he was doing. And
you don't agree?
Like that. Well, that's true.
I think it varies
if you
from one
need
person. It varies from
some men might tell you
individual.
women is not their weakness.
It's because they haven't found a woman. Like, I feel like if men who are saying that, this can happen to me, or I will never say that. In most of the cases, the minute that they get in
this
front
is
of
for
the
heterosexual relationships,
the
guys,
right
obviously.
woman. I remember I was listening to a sermon where the pastor said, like, you're saying that you're not into a woman, but would you say it if you're in front of the woman who's actually your type? Well, would the language be different?
Not if the person is not interested in women. They're not going to be interested.
My thing is this, right? And another thing I feel like we have to bleep out eventually. If your addiction or if your weakness in life is coke and meth, then me bringing you a cigarette, it's not going to do anything for you.
That's right.
I agree with you.
That's where I can kind of disagree with you, Patricia. Like, I don't believe that all men, we can't put them on a monolith. I don't even like when they do that with women. Like, all women only want one thing. No, that's not true. A lot of us crave protection. A lot of us want provision, and the provision has to come from a lover. But back to your point of the psychology behind why a lot of great men fall, and that's in this, it's very layered. It's a very layered conversation. It's not, true. I do not have a blanket answer for it. Right?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I will say, from what the ones that I've been able to speak to, or obviously that we do history on, a lot of times there's brokenness in the beginning.
That's true.
We got to go
within the guy? Or?
Yes, let's go from the root level, right? If you were a man who never used to get women like that, and now you don't look good, you just have more money. Sorry for the Jamaican dialect that might come out, guys. You have more money. You have more access to things. Now you can talk to women you can even afford to breathe by. It's easier for you. Now you can walk in rooms that you only wished you could go into. When Jeff Bezos is giving you an invitation to his yacht party, when you were a nobody, when we were working at Best Buy in the back and nobody knew our name, it was one thing. But now that we've developed this high-tech AI sufficient app, and now we're on yachts and boats and cruises, now I can afford to talk to the things or do the things I could never even fathom to do. Now I have not even disciplined myself because now I have more access. Yeah. And a lot of times and if we're going to go back to the Christian roots of all of this, right? We ask God for the increase and ask him to enlarge our territory, but we don't want to learn how to discipline ourselves or learn how to even know what to do with the increase. You're asking God, help me get this promotion and do more with my money, but you don't know how to tithe. You don't know how to save. You don't have no 301. No, there's nothing. You don't even know how to pay your bills on time, but you want increase. So I feel like we can get into places where we have not trained ourselves how to handle more. And that can be reflective in our Christianity and our spiritual walk, as well as so many different things. I remember reading this thing once, and I can know it's true because I am one of them, but it said, you can tell the mind of a woman by looking at her car and how she handles her spaces or her intimate spaces. And like, if her car is a mess and never cleaning with her, that's how her mind is. And I can say, with a person who with ADHD who can never stay on one topic, my car can sometimes reflect that. there's no structure, there's no organization. And I had to start organizing and caring for my car and cleaning it up so I could have a clearer mind. And it did help me focus and refocus.
You talk about being trained for the next level, but how do you train yourself how do you prepare for that next level?
I believe there are baby steps in finding out again, let's go back to the root. What are my root causes for why I'm dysfunctional? What are my root causes for why I don't know how to spend money or save money properly? What are my root causes? It could be.
That's Patricia's.
By the way, that was just a hit on Patricia.
That's Patricia's thing.
It could be a spiritual warfare issue, or it could be the fact that when you were 10 years old,
that you have no discipline.
It was never raised in you. And this is why I say, like, when I tell people, like, I'm a sex coach, coaching, just like if you had a professional athletic trainer, there are baby steps. They don't throw 100 pounds on you first. You work with your 5 or you work with your 10. Take your time. If you know that this promotion is going to give you 6 figures and you've never even seen 6 figures before, how about we learn how to save the $6 that we have first? How about we learn how to structure our bill payments and budgeting now with the $15 we have before we get there?
Oh my God.
You're the spiritual lady.
So are we saying that if you already do not have the discipline when you have little,
oh baby,
you're definitely gonna go wild when you get successful, or even in relationship.
Yes,
if you are here and then there's already unfaithfulness and like all of those things. So when you at a higher level, get ready.
Yes, and let me tell you that truthfully and honestly, as somebody specifically, I am a sex coach for clergy and church couples. So that's all I deal with.
I want to be part of it. I want to see what's going on in your session.
I'm not dealing with couples or singles on the outside. And I don't say it disrespectfully. I said it because the church has the highest demographics for unhappy sex couples. Like, they have the highest numbers for people who are uneducated sexually, right?
Yes.
And so
because of Ellen G. White. But keep going.
Oh my
God.
No,
keep going.
You did not go there.
Well, I go anywhere I want to. My God.
What does Ellen G. White has to do with like sex education? You think?
No, we're talking about the sexual frustration.
The church?
We're talking about sexual frustration.
I want to open that segment a little bit. How did Ellen G. White repress the church? That's a question for you. How did Ellen G. White repress the church sexually?
Well, I mean, if you look at the history of the Seventh-day Church, and the relationship that they have with sexual expression and sexual practices,
right?
If you look at the writing of Ellen G. White, it's fair to conclude that some of them were sexually frustrated or emotionally constipated. And they pass that down to the next line. I've always make it clear to you guys, Dr. Sylvester Graham, how he was a Seventh-day preacher. He came with the research with masturbation, saying that masturbation is going to do all those, you're going to go blind, all those things going to happen to you if you masturbate. Therefore, what happened? He created a special diet. Designed for parents to purchase those specific diet, including the graham crackers that we eat in today, so you can stop masturbation.
But that's why cornflakes were originated.
Right.
Cornflakes came from...
part of the diet. That's what I'm saying. So you're asking me, what does the church have to do with it? Show me a person who has been sexually repressed. I will show you where the church has been actively engaged in the life of that person.
Yes.
Go to England in the age of the Victorian era.
Right.
Okay? Don't ask me about the church again.
Did he? But at the same time, you know something. Here is my problem with whenever we blame the church for everything.
Well,
the people attending the church, I understand as a community, you are responsible. If you put in education out there, if you preaching and things like that, it's your responsibility to the mass. But also, we are removing the power that the members have.
Because
you can't tell me the pastor is responsible.
We're not saying the pastor
for
your
community is responsible for how you.
To a certain extent, the pastor is a victim as well. Okay.
Now, at some point, somebody has to take, ownership of their own education.
Now, understand this. You're saying that we're blaming the church. The church is in everything that we are doing, even here in America. That is a so-called separation of state and power thing.
Right.
Okay. The Constitution that you have. Look at the 10 Commandments.
Well, I'm not saying that's wrong.
Everything is core. What every society is doing, they get the idea from the foundation was the church.
Yes,
but why do you guys think
but what my thing is, we're talking about, I feel like, community level and individual level. I feel like if I'm part of a plantation, like Harriet Tubman was not any slave.
Okay.
So if we're gonna, because I'm looking at, like, when you keep saying the umbrella is responsible for everything, at what point do you as a sheep step out and say, I'm gonna educate myself
Here's the
instead
problem.
of just
Here's the problem.
right.
Here's the problem.
Because
here's the problem. I'm gonna come to you in a minute. Here's the problem. Every single one of us want to put food on our table. We have to eat. There's a lot of folks that you asking to step out. This is how they put food on their table. If they make money based on the stupidity of the people, if the people is no longer stupid, they will not be able to drive that Mercedes. If the people is no longer stupid, they will not be able to live in that mansion. If the people is now enlightened, there's going to be a revolution that threatens the economic status quo of the church.
But
do you want to get out of that?
But then if you stay there, you make a choice, because you like to make that argument how we all have choices.
Well, you're talking about some of those pastors, but we have the little sheep there.
What is your take, Kayla?
I don't believe in interrupting people, so I let people finish.
Oh, here we go.
No, we go back.
You take your turn. We'll let you go. You pull it, we'll let you go.
I'll be the interrupter.
Yeah.
Because this is my job. So.
Yeah.
No. So, I mean, I have mixed reviews and emotions on this, right?
Oh.
Because as a woman who has, like, in my earlier days, my hashtag was pretty preacher. Not because I have a beat face and a laid wig. That had nothing to do with my aesthetics. It was the fact that I was a woman in a male-dominated space. So I was the rose among the thorns, right? And the churches that I would preach at, there came a problem with my appearance, where it was like, you can't look like that and come preach to us. If you want to stay here with us, change your appearance, change who you are. I had to make the constant decision, all right, if I want to appease them and their rules and stay here, then I change everything about myself or I leave. So I left.
You could afford to do that.
Yes. And so, but once again, though, I knew, here I go being spiritual again, the calling on my life was too heavy for me to sit under oppression.
Exactly.
I was not going to listen to man and some made up rules and biblical nuances that are not applicable and sit there and be oppressed versus coming out into freedom and walking in the calling that I have. So the person you see now is a woman who is not bound by the same denomination, the same even cultural rules and standards that I was grown up in. I had to come up out of that. So, but I know people who agree with me, who do close to what I do, but they stopped following the dreams that God gave them because felt uncomfortable leaving the church. So they stayed. So for us to say statements like, then just leave, is like a Cassie Diddy, where you were telling the victim,
she went there,
who was mentally and emotionally repressed and manipulated, that you have all power to leave, so you should have walked up and got out. That's not necessarily the case all the time with mental health. That's not always the case with domestic violence, and especially when it comes to personal or intimate domestic violence, because that's different too, right? And so I hear the thought of telling people, like, I wanted to be Harriet Tubman. I wanted to go back and go to a church and be like, gut free, come on, get out. Look, wear your earrings, girl. Get a tattoo, it's fine. God's not going to kill you.
I did all of
But
the
I
above.
remember seeing
The
people. Oh, no. And that was more frustrating.
Yeah.
Watching people want to stay. Why would you want to stay there?
Yeah.
It's because that's what they're used to.
Exactly.
And then when we come to the pastors and things like that, right? There are a lot of pastors who are double-minded in their actions because their minds say one thing, but their actions say another. A lot of them that don't believe in half the things that are being taught to them or half of what they have to teach, but they stay because of a check. They stay because they don't know where else to go. And that's we can get into that of not being bivocational, because there's some people who believe that the church is going to do everything for them. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. My main point is, like, the people who have stayed under religious ruling and in religious settings because of oppression and because of this is what they've been taught. Sometimes it's easier to stay than to leave. It's like being an entrepreneur, working a 9-to-5 or jumping out and doing what you want to do. Right. Sometimes it's easier to work for the man.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah.
I know the check is coming.
Still a choice.
It is a choice. It is a choice because it's easier.
But I want to add 2 clarification to what you just said. That's important to me because I don't play with sexual violence and domestic violence. When I was saying how if you feel oppressed, if you're at a community, stop blaming the community, step out. I definitely would not compare to Cassie and Diddy or those type of abusive relationship, because I feel like even though I see the comparison about how you can
but
go
how
and it's your decision.
How can you excuse the Lala's action and supporting, I don't know if that's the word I should be using,
right?
Or explaining out Cassie's action. Lala was there for a specific mission. She understood the mission, carried out the darn mission. I suspect, I don't pay much attention to him really. I suspect Cassie was there for a specific
Samson was
mission.
not sadistic.
So you excusing it because
I'm not excusing it. I'm saying she was on a mission, and then she accomplished that mission. And we need to stop saying that, Delilah is right, because she was not Christian to begin with. She did not believe in God. They said, I'll pay you, go in there, find out the secret.
She was a woman. That's all we're saying.
In the case of Cassie and Diddy, if we're going to go there, in that case, the things that she had to go through because she wanted that thing. I don't think it's fair to say that, okay, if I want this, even if I say I'm gonna sleep with you for that.
Right.
But the other
aspect of it, the abuse,
the humiliation,
the humiliation, public, and all of these things.
Okay,
I'm not sure she willingly
and I'm asking
say
a question
that
here.
I'm gonna come into this relationship
thinking,
so you can have like this whole line of men waiting to sleep with me.
Right.
No, I'm coming to sleep with you so I can get a job.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I
but that's not the topic of conversation. We're gonna leave that alone.
I know, yeah.
But I have a different view on this whole thing.
Right.
I understand it's hard to get out, but once you get out, you come back. You get out, you come back. I understand if I call you one day, say, come here, you expect one person and I give you 2.
Right.
But if you come back, you see 5 and you keep coming back, you texted me back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, at
It's
some
the
point,
pull.
there have to be,
that.
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
If it's a one-time thing, you expected, hey, you're going to meet with me, just me, whatever. Then I have all my homeboys here. You go like, hey, you deceived me. That's not what you talked about. But I go home and I say, hey, let's do it again. And then you knew what I put you through the first time.
But what she just, it kind of speaks to what she just mentioned. Psychologically, do you think it's that easy to just come out of that?
No, it's not.
When it starts with mental, right?
Even
It starts
with
financial is being controlled.
I love
it's still a choice. I'm not saying it doesn't make it that, but
you think being a black man in America that I can get shot anywhere I go, you think that's easy? It's not a question about easy choice. It's do you have the discipline to do what is required? That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about sex discipline, but discipline is a word that we apply in everything that we do.
Right.
The society is built on knowing that you don't have the discipline to do it, then that's how I'm going to make money of you. I know you don't have the discipline to send an extra payment on that mortgage, therefore I'm going to hold you down for 30 years.
Right.
I know you don't have the discipline to not go to Starbucks to spend extra money, then you're going to be broke.
That makes sense. Okay.
I know you don't have the discipline.
So do we, now let's get into the world viewpoint about, they're romanticizing that you can have it all, including sexual freedom. Do you think at a cost of, integrity and your purpose, as believers, do you think that's a dangerous thing?
Ask me the question again. I'm trying to minimize it. Like I'm trying to get to the root of it. Are you saying that, do I think you can be a believer and have a free reign sexually to do whatever you want to do?
Yes, at the cost of, because what we're preaching is, sexual freedom. You can do everything that you want, in terms of like the sexuality. Everybody can just be free and be happy.
Well, the world, not the church.
Not the church.
Okay.
Not the church. I'm talking about the world point of view and how dangerous it can be And that could be a problem with why people don't have sexual discipline, because now everything is so romanticized in terms of I can be whatever I want, I can do whatever I want, I can sleep with whomever. And now it's classified as, yes, because the church will look at a promiscuous woman and automatically say, oh, you're not supposed to do this because of different things. But there's the world also aspect of it is that's telling you that is okay. You can walk out anyhow you want, and everybody else should have that sexual discipline on their end. But what about the sexual discipline on your end to know, well, there are certain things that once I open my mind to it, then it can lead to, I
have a responsibility toward my borders.
Right. Do you think that there is such a thing?
Again.
And how dangerous?
I have mixed emotion. I have two viewpoints. I'm not saying mixed emotions. I have two viewpoints of this. We just talked about oppression, right? And suppression. And then you mentioned believers. If my whole life in church, I've been told, cover up your shoulder, cover up your chest, cover up your knee, don't do anything to make yourself look too wanted, don't look too sexy. And then I step outside and the world's like, hey, show a little shoulder, you'll be all right. You are taking me from full-on shackles and bounds to all of a sudden freedom. There's been no training. And this is why I'm against how the church has treated and teaches sex. A lot of the issues, again, of why I do what I do, is because there are too many Christian couples that don't know how to have sex with their spouse because the church has done a disservice on educating you or allowing you to feel free to express yourself sexually. There is nothing wrong with sexual freedom. You know what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it is how it's taught to you. What's wrong with it is how it's given to you, how it's put on a platter. It's just like how we teach our children. Growing up, I remember, and I'm going to make sure this comes back to point. In my Black household, in my Black Caribbean Jamaican household, when we were hungry as children, I had to go to my mother and ask her, Mommy, can I have a snack? Mind you, the pantry has no lock on it. The pantry's sitting open in the kitchen with all the snacks in it. But yet I have to go to my mother and ask her for if I can have a snack. If Mommy says I cannot have a snack, now I can't have a snack, but I see the pantry open and now I just know no, because I said so. There's no freedom. Now, my Caucasian brothers and sisters, when I go to their house, get the snack. If you're hungry, eat. But the children never stole the snacks. They never hid the snacks. They knew they had access to it because Mommy has already given it and it's there for me to grab. There was a discipline of eat when you're hungry, not to hoard and not overeat yourself. Eat because you want something until dinner time. In the Black community, it's either I have to listen to you or I have to do it in secret. Now you have all these Black children hiding snacks. I remember being in a household because I lived in a very verbally abusive and repressive household where my sisters and I would hide snacks because we were not allowed the freedom of being able to. And every time we would ask us a no and an insult, a no and a rebuttal. And so that's how I look at a lot of us, how we grew up in Christian spaces and church spaces, and then the world.
I see.
Where it's available to you. You can grab it if you would like to, but the church makes it like, no, if we don't say you can't have it.
But why?
So that's why we're suffering with the sexual discipline because the church is, it's like you don't, it's like saying, like you said, you can't have something and that's what makes you want to have it even more.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden you get to an age, or they're like, well, when you get married, all of a sudden you're of age to be married. Now everybody's like, okay, so where's the husband and where are the 5 kids? What 5 children, Mary? What 5 children, Sister
We're going to have
Margaret?
to talk about sexual discipline within marriage as well. We got so much.
I have a question about that. How do
maybe you should take that. I don't know if you should take it or her. Because you're the demonic expert.
Reframe that.
Well,
Reframe that.
no, you are. I say you are the demonic expert. Meaning you're not demonic. Okay, you know about the demons. Okay.
Come on, knowing about demons. I work with Wilfred too. It's okay.
I mean, I'm just saying. Can sexual irresponsibilities or sexual, if I'm undisciplined sexually, or can sexual discipline overcome a demonic spirit to practice irresponsible sexual act? In other words, based on your philosophy, if there's a demon that says that I need to, that's what the demon is. Can I overcome that demon by practicing sexual responsibility?
Okay.
I'll have you answer that.
Yes, because
I have a take on that.
Of course you do.
So,
I told you you're the demonic expert.
All right. So as someone who works in deliverance
and
spiritual warfare,
that's right.
There are spirits for a lot of things that we are blind to or ignorant to.
Okay.
Not only is there a choice that you have to make to be better or want to do differently, there also has to be a purging of what is inside. And I feel like you making the conscious decision to be better is amazing. That's the first start.
Yeah.
Because in order to allow the Holy Spirit to work, we have to grant him access. We grant him access by saying, okay, God, I have the issue and I want this to be fixed. I need you to help me. And now we work on the spirituality and the chokehold. But once again, what I've been calling this the whole episode, the roots. Get to the roots of it. What is this spiritual demon, this sexual demon that you think you have? Where did it come from?
I'm glad because I was going to ask you a question. Could it be God's will for someone to be a hoe?
God's will for somebody to be a hoe is very interesting theology.
I'm asking. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to
make a statement.
Question. Is it God's will? Because I remember yesterday we were talking about that guy God told him, go get a prostitute and I want you to marry a prostitute. So if God sends someone to go get a prostitute.
I think that was to teach a lesson mostly.
But so is there prostitute? I'm just asking, is it possible that someone is destined to be a prostitute because of that's what God wants for that individual?
That would have been established at creation. But that was not what God established at creation.
I don't think God's will is ever for us to
you to destroy your body or do whatever it is.
Okay. God's will is perfect for us. We destroyed it.
Yeah.
By disobedience and lack of discipline. To go back to what we're going back to.
Yeah. You mentioned you touch on it when you talk about
this.
Having the root, knowing the root and things like that. I do believe there are certain patterns that are demonic, especially when it's happening to all of the male in the family. I listened to this interview, even though it's very controversial on social media and things like that. And the guy was saying how he was in a club and there was an older guy in the club and the guy is like, oh yeah, I know your father. And he's like, I know your grandfather too. And he said this is when he realized if he didn't stop stepping out on his wife or coming to that club, he was going to be the same because his father had children with like 6 different women. Is it psychology
or religion? In other words,
I'm not even saying about like religion or psychology. I'm saying there are certain patterns in your family that are demonic.
But if it's demons, that's religion, that's spirit. If it is, I just watch behaviors, then that's more psychology.
But it's not either or. Why do we think that if it's demonic, it's not also psychological?
So you're saying that it's both?
It can be both. It can be both because you have to do both of the work. You have to be delivered from the pattern in the family. You have to seek
mental health professional.
We
spoke about both. Yeah, we spoke about complementary. We spoke about complementary.
I understand that. But is it possible at times that this kid is a prostitute because I watched my mom being a prostitute, mom watched grandma being a prostitute, that we learned, Robert Bandura, we learned by watching and learned the behaviors, and then that's what it is.
That's true. So now, but it could also be a root where also because of the family.
But now, how do we distinguish between a disease that is a psychological disease and one that is a religion? By the way, this is a big controversial topic, the idea of what is psychology and what is religion. So.
And the thing is, do we have to?
Well, yes, you do. Because
why is it important to determine if it's demonic or psychological?
Let me tell you why. I need to know which tool that I need to equip myself with to go into the job if I know what it is. If I know it's just a psychological problem, I am not going to throw a spiritual solution at a psychological problem. What I will do is to submit myself to psychotherapy and understand cognitive behavioral therapy so I can deconstruct the way I think about it. But you better believe it. If it's the law from your ancestors that's dancing out there too, I'm not going to attack that with a psychological way. I'm going to send you back to your habitation in Haiti. I'm going to send you back to your priest. I'm going to refer you to the clergy so they can pray for you, because this problem is outside the scope of my practice.
Right.
So you're saying now, how do we identify?
We need to identify, or else we're going to get burned. Because I don't want to mess. You can go with both, because you have.
That's for Kayla.
That's Kayla. That's a loaded question, Kayla.
But okay, so again, I see both perspectives, and I agree wholeheartedly on both. And you made some really great points of, I don't want to come and try and fix a problem with the wrong tool. And you're perfectly fine with that thought process. That makes sense. In my line of work, because not only am I a sex coach, but I am also the saved sex coach. Again, hitting this with theology and the Bible and spirituality. When I have a couple, or when I have a person that comes to me and they want to tell me, like, I've always cheated, like that's something I just can't stop doing, or I like women, I like multiple women, I have to always have more than one all the time. I am not just going to be like, okay, your dad was a cheater, that makes so much sense, let's go and stop you from the patterns of childhood. No. I'm also going to hit you at the root. Where did this come from? And that is one through my own prayer and study. This is not just you coming, me writing on a little notepad saying, every 5 seconds and sending you on your way and take your check. That's not it for me. This is a spiritual battle. Everything is. I see things in both the spirit and in the natural realm. It allows me to know how to go after this thing. Not only am I going to make sure I bind whatever came from your grandmother and your great-grandmother and whoever else that is in your lineage, I'm also going to come at you with making sure you have a trauma specialist that comes and helps you as well. Because it takes two of us. God did not just give me the wisdom, but he also gifted other people in health fields to be able to help you if you have a gut issue. Not only am I going to bind diabetes and blood sugar and everything else, but I'm also going to send you to a health specialist because we need to lose some weight and we need to shed those pounds. It's not just spiritual. So how do you tie
the going back to the idea of responsibility? Right. You determine someone has a demonic problem that's leading you to act irresponsibly sexually. How do you bring the individual on that, hey, you have to be more responsible, although it's not your fault, type of thing? How do you hold them accountable, still make the person understand that you have a demon that is after you? Can we do both?
How do I tell you have a demon, but also tell you now you have to walk in a certain way or get the help that you need?
Yeah.
Just as we tell somebody that their shoes are pink or that their underwear is showing, I feel like it's the same thing. I'm going to give you both, because at the end of the day, it is our responsibility. What does the Bible say about the man who was cleaned out the house and the spirits left, but then he didn't clean out the house properly, left the door open, and 7 more came back? This is still your responsibility of closing that portal and making sure nothing comes back in.
But the Apostle Paul said, every time I'm trying to do right, it's the one that comes to me. Isn't that a way of saying that the one is, that diminish what I can do to solve the problem, since it's a spiritual force that's making me doing it?
Yeah, that's slightly out of context of conversation. Okay. I just want to make sure I understand. So there is a every time I try to do right, this thorn in my flesh, right? And the thorn is not just a little rose thorn. It's this big old slab of wood. There's something sticking me that's making it hard for me to maneuver, right? But this is what the grace of God is so important, because through my weakness, he is strong. I have strength through him, right?
But Paul never found anything for that. Paul suffered through this.
Yes, that was his thorn, and we all have thorns, but that is not a reason why I should leave certain doors and portals open and my spirit susceptible.
But if that sexual irresponsibility is that thorn that was given to me, just like Paul had it. I mean, is it not? I'm not saying I'm excused.
I can answer that.
But grace is sufficient,
right?
Yeah.
Should you not allow me or not understand that poor Jezebel is there, or poor Patricia, she has this demon on her or whatever, and then I understand that, and grace is sufficient.
Let me answer to that. It's like somebody with substance use issues. Whenever I'm around Coke, I'm always going to want to touch it.
There you go.
I'm always going to want to drink it. Like if I have a alcohol issue and then I get into a bar, and this is why some people know this is my thing. I don't go to bars.
Right.
I don't go to party.
Expose yourself
I
to
don't
it.
expose myself anywhere that I think this substance might be, right? And also in the context of sexual, there are men who are very vocal about it on social media. I know especially a podcaster I respect a lot. He says that he used to get massages. And that was his thing. And he knows that was stepping out of his on his wife because of the way that it used to happen.
Special massages.
Special massages.
I was just saying you have to make
They have
special massages.
Where they
go
downtown.
What's that quarterback who
happy
played for
endings.
Houston? What's that quarterback?
Massages with happy endings, right?
Like Joissaint Watson type of massage.
Oh my God.
I don't know people's name, but here is what he says. He says the way that he's been able to discipline himself, he doesn't go anywhere that his wife doesn't know. He's like, my wife can call anybody and find me. I don't expose myself to certain kind of conversation with women. I respect women. I see you as a creator, a creation of God. I can compliment women, but I'm never going to keep myself in a space with somebody I'm attracted to by myself. And he says sometimes he will be having a conversation with somebody who's very attractive, and then he will call his body and say, hey, man, come in this conversation and things. Like he won't step into a car with you if he even sense in his spirit that you are my torn.
Do you guys want to touch? I know we have so much to talk about.
But that's the maturity.
We're almost. I feel like this conversation needs to happen again another hour because there's so much.
And that's discipline.
Now with it, we're in the obviously the spiritual realm of things. And do you guys believe? What can you speak to the consequences of sexual recklessness?
But there are a lot in the spiritual and in the natural, though. There you
go.
And again, this is not just about demons, warlocks, witches, and everything else. This is also about this is all about your natural. You are also deteriorating your body. There are natural consequences to sleeping with somebody with a disease. Like you can catch the disease. So I'm not gonna make this.
I heard now this lady said that she has AIDS, and she said it's not her responsibility to tell people that she has it.
I did see that. And that's just immaturity. It's your body, and if you're gonna share it with somebody, you should probably tell them. If I have food that I cooked, but I dropped it on the floor, it's my responsibility to say, "Hey, Obel, I'm offering you a pancake that dropped on the floor.
Right.
You have the choice."
Or you don't eat from people.
Yeah. You have the choice of eating it or not, giving you that choice and that option. I believe in that. I feel like that's fairness and just being a decent human being. And so you're saying, are there consequences?
What does the consequences look like for sexual recklessness?
It could look like anything,
right? Speak to them.
Again, I don't know how spiritual we can make this, but there's a lot.
People talk about spiritual tie bonds.
Okay, great. Because I'm just making sure, because I deal with both the spiritual and the natural, and so like the people. I remember this one situation. This man had, unbeknownst to him, slept with a witch. And remember, witches don't look like the things from Disney princesses the wart on the nose and the hat and the broomstick. That's not anybody who just partakes in witchcraft is a witch. So there's that. And so there were special spells and things that she used to not just lure him, but to keep him bound. Because again, now you're messing with things in a dark realm. You're messing with things in the supernatural and the spiritual places, and you've opened up yourself. I remember being able to see the spirits on him, but he didn't know that.
Wow.
Because you're unbeknownst to it. You're not meant to.
You said you see the spirit?
You didn't.
Yeah, you can see them on.
I feel people's
I do.
spirits, but I don't know how I see it.
So yeah. So
a smell too.
Again,
I've had that experience.
Yeah, there are smells.
But how do you see it? I felt
it's
people
different for different
who are in
people.
witchcraft.
I've had the experience where people smell a certain smell. And then I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, oh my God, what is that smell? And then I went to listen and I was listening to somebody and said how certain spirit, like some people see, some people you just know that smell is just not a natural smell.
Okay.
And that's how they have a spirit on them or they're possessed by something.
So then you saw the spirit and then.
So yeah, because that's my gift. So to be able to see, hear, deal with things. Like I said, I deal with deliverance. And so he couldn't tell, like his continence was different. There was an addiction that he had to certain spaces in the house where she had been. She's been in the bed. She's been in the room. And, you know, like, without trying to make Christianity sound spooky and, you know, because it's not supposed to sound like a Goosebumps episode. It's just what happens in certain realms and things like that. And you can even watch podcasts where witches and people who deal with dark spirits are interviewed, right?
I agree with you.
They can tell you some things.
Yeah.
So let's just be
There's a concept. There's a concept in Haiti that you tie the person down.
It is a real concept.
And so things like that, right? And so if you are reckless, you're out here spreading your goodness all over the city, and you are not being cognitively aware or even praying about who you were sleeping with. Like, you're just doing whatever. You're just letting your flesh lead you. Because spirit would have let you know from jump, this person is not who they are portraying to be. This person is dealing in different realms. This is not a safe situation. The same way you get a gut feeling about walking into a room, or it's the same thing. But where there's a stronghold, where is your spirit man? Not even healthy. Because that relationship with God will give you everything you need to know.
Yep.
Right? And so again, though, when we're letting flesh lead, and you jump into this space, and all of a sudden it's just like there's an addiction. Because in witchcraft, there is, again, not trying to make it sound so crazy, but mind control. Like, that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Because remember, witches are natural and real people, right? You can touch them.
Exactly.
So they can't be here and in Plano and in Frisco at the same time. That's not how they do it.
That's only
so
God.
There has to be something that she leaves behind so that she can monitoring
spirit.
things. Yeah. So there has to be things that she's using to monitor you and watch you and keep you. And so, like, dealing with witchcraft is different than just going to somebody with your anointing oil and praying or release. It's a lot different than that. It's a lot different. And so my thing is, coming from your main question of, what are the consequences, and can there be consequences? Yes, there can be. Just like, again, if I decide to sleep with somebody with a disease, or I'm not strapping up, or I'm not taking care of my hygiene, I'm not taking care of my body, the consequences of such, they're both in the spirit and the natural. And I'm not too spiritual to where I'm naturally ignorant, and I'm not too natural to where I'm spiritually ignorant. And I'm just like, oh, God's not in, God doesn't care about what you do. That's not true either. So that's my very long answer for your question. Sorry.
And there is that thing too. Deep. Oh yes.
Yeah, we love going deep.
We can go even deeper.
Yeah, but we can do this around here in the next episode.
We go deep with the sex coach around here.
But should I add that one thing that she said though? To the point of, even in Haitian culture, you know, there are things that people have, like when they say that you have this wife in the family, a spiritual wife, well, like, this person cannot marry, and they call it like marine spirit or things like that. You're like, no man in this family would marry other women. And I remember there was a girl testifying about it where she met this guy and they fell in love and it was so nice. But then when it comes time when the guy proposed, and they said in order for, he opened up to her. Saying that from time to time there might be a snake in the house, but don't be afraid. And she's like, what? Because every man in his family, this is the routine. They have that thing in their family. Like, if you're gonna come into this marriage, you have to agree that I have another wife.
There's a snake. What the snake is coming? Which
That's
house?
the spirit, whatever is in their family.
It could be the spirit, the snake, a spirit.
But he said,
I ain't coming.
He said from his family. That's what? Like, can you agree with that?
No.
And that's not at the beginning of the relationship. That's like after he proposed.
That's fine.
And all
That's
of
fine.
These things.
That's fine. We're gonna quit.
So she did.
She did quit.
She did. But you never know.
That was in depth. Now to end this, what is, for somebody who's listening, who's watching, who's probably dealing with sexual discipline, what is some advice or we can give them as the first step for them to go towards sexual discipline? I know you already talked about roots. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add to that, but I know that people have made mistakes. People are still battling with these things. What is that one last piece of thing that you can leave with them that is currently struggling with that to kind of break the cycle?
Okay, so one is always making sure you're aware. So you even saying you have a problem is the first step, because you have to acknowledge that. Then finding the right people around you, right? I know somebody's not going to like this doctrine, but I'm giving it to you everywhere anyway. Some of you have toxic churches that you are putting yourself in. And when you say you need help or you say you have a problem, they either pacify it or make it like you're crazy. Some of you have to find help outside of the church that you grew up in. Some of you are going to have to find spiritual counsel and help outside of the people that you know of. That might have to be educating yourself on different podcasts and different pages or different pastors, different apostles, whatever your realm of denomination is. And sometimes going outside of that. And people don't like that. And that's why a lot of us have struggled, because the people around us are still enslaved in that captivity. They're still in that place. And so understanding, having the awareness, then 2, finding the help and seeking it, and finding that safe space where you can say, hey, I think I have a sexual problem. I think I don't know how to control it. I think I have a addiction to masturbation or addiction to pornography. Being able to say it is important, and having the safe space too. And then finding your way and making sure that you get the help that you need. You not only need your help in the natural, but you're going to need your help in the spiritual if you are a believer. And that's really big. And people don't want to put the 2 together, but it is true. So that would be really it, to be honest. And then your prayer life and how you pray. Because not only is it good to be able to talk to God and share with God what's going on, but also being open and ready for when He's like, okay, well, there's this podcast called Mind Your Wellness Podcast. And Obel is someone who is well connected. Reach out to Obel and see what she can do. Reach out to Patricia. Being open to hearing the voice of God is very big too, because sometimes we don't know where to start. So
beautiful.
I love
Beautiful.
that. That's a beautiful way to end.
Thank you so much, Kayla. I love this conversation. Guys, you already heard it all. You know what to do. I don't want to keep telling you what to do. You know, you're grown. We don't want to force you into this, but please, we appreciate the support. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with everyone. And thank you again. And I would say, mind your wellness.
It's your business.
Again, mind your wellness.
Because it's your business.
Bye.
Bye.